Hello, and welcome everyone to the Elite Racer Series, Season 2, Race 19. This is the penultimate race of this season, a place where possibly we can crown a champion, depending on how the points leader Big Jim does here tonight. This is a race at Iowa, so it's going to be a fairly quick race here tonight in the Elite Racer Series. Iowa normally pretty short races. Normally takes about an hour, a little bit less, to do these races, so we'll see how it goes here in this one. The points entering this race, Big Jim had a masterful race in Auto Club, which got him a good points lead over LT, who won't be racing the last two races. So really the guy second in points is Tango, who's 31 points back. And if Big Jim leaves 36 points up on Tango or anyone else, Big Jim wins the championship no matter what. So the 3 car has a very good shot to do that here tonight in Iowa. Big Jim very fast at a track like Iowa. We've seen it before at a place like Richmond or New Hampshire. He's really fast at tracks where it requires off throttle and just kind of patience to get back into the gas. So we'll see how he does here in Iowa. The one time I raced with him at Iowa, he finished second and stayed on the Lear's bumper the whole time, and that was LT, who's not racing. So odds are, if things work out normally and there's no, strategy or whatever where maybe Tango can try something, Big Jim might be able to race his way to the championship here, because the winner gets 35 points, second place gets 32 points, and then it goes down even more from then on out. I believe the next place gets like 30 points or something. Yeah, they get 30. So if Big Jim were to get first and Tango gets third, that would be enough for Big Jim to claim the championship, even with just one spot in between them. So we'll see if Big Jim has a good enough night to do that here in Iowa, as we'll have to see what the strategy and all that is for this racetrack. The tires go longer than the fuel here at Iowa, so we'll have to watch for that throughout the race and see how that plays an impact. And we'll see who can try and maybe stretch fuel longer to try and make, whatever, do any yellows come out at some point. We'll have to see what happens here in Iowa. Sometimes unpredictable racing at Iowa, and we'll see how it goes here tonight. So we're waiting for the okay to get going, and we'll see what happens here whenever we're taking the green flag for the second to last race of the season, and we'll see if Big Jim can lock it up in the 3 car. We'll have to see if he can get it done. Also, people behind Tango, Alpha, Allen, and Brennan are within 35 points of Big Jim. So they're hoping Big Jim has a bad night, has some issues after the midway yellow, and can't get caught up and there's no more yellows after he has those issues. If that were to happen, then Big Jim would maybe feeling the heat a little bit from possibly Tango or Allen or Brennan, maybe even Alpha, into that final race. We'll have to see, though, what everyone behind Big Jim in points can do here in Iowa. Can they try and find a way to dethrone the 3 car? Obviously, he won the championship in the only ever season when it was called the Winter Series. We'll have to see what he can do. Can he try and go back-to-back in the championships and win the only 2 championships that we've had in this league so far? As it looks like Workman on pole for this race. He's going to try and steal maybe some of those points from Big Jim. We'll see if he can try and get it done. Try and get that first win in this league. It looks like there's 9 people. Workman on pole. Brennan will start in second. Brennan normally very good qualifying at Iowa. Also pretty good racing as well. He's run inside the top 5 a lot of races here at Iowa. So it's possible that he might run up towards the front with Big Jim, who starts in 4th. In between them, it's Tiger in 3rd. Starting in 5th, it's Tango. In 6th, we have Allen. And then in 7th, it's AJ. 8th, it's Pens. And in 9th, Craig did not make a qualifying lap. So that is the field. Looks like it's going to be 9 cars for racing here at Iowa. Since it looks like Alpha isn't in the race, that would also eliminate Alpha from championship contention. So it looks like at this moment, it will come down to Big Jim in the 3, Tango, Allen, and Brennan. And we'll have to see which of these guys can try and get that championship, or try and have a shot at that championship, and can Big Jim maybe try and lock it up here tonight in Iowa. And with only 9 cars, that really hurts the people behind Big Jim in points, because if, Big Jim has a bad night, The worst he's getting is 9th, which isn't terrible points. So that would honestly be kind of detrimental for some of those drivers. As we'll get into the race now, and we'll get going here in Iowa. A 9-car race for the second to last race of the season, and we'll see how it goes. It should be a fun one, and you know, if someone's not starting well, that's definitely something where they don't have to worry too much. As once again, it's 140 laps, pretty short for a cup race and standard stuff like that. It's going to take about an hour, maybe a little less. But for qualifying here at Iowa, it's not necessarily the most important thing. I've seen people qualify poorly to where they just can't get the 1-lap pace, but the long run pace means so much more. So we'll have to see how that long run pace comes into play for some drivers. Obviously, Big Jim, we know, has really fast cars on the long runs at tracks like this, so I would expect nothing less than for him to possibly be fast once again on the longer run here. Maybe sacrifice some of that shorter run speed. Doesn't take off all that well, but maybe it'll go in the long run. As here we are, we're green flag racing at Iowa. Workman on pole leads them to turn 1. On the outside, it's Brennan. Up behind them, it's Tiger. And up on the outside, way outside, that's Big Jim. Once again, the championship leader, looking for enough points to lock it up over Tango, Brennan, and Allen as they race to turns 3 and 4 for the first of the night. Workman out in front, side by side for second. Tiger on the inside of Brennan, who's going to keep the second spot with the outside. But it's Workman leading the first lap here in Iowa. And another great thing about Iowa is the multiple grooves you can use. It seems like on a shorter run, the outside really comes in. First 10, 15 laps of a run, you can really make the outside work pretty well. You see with Brendan up there, up against Big Jim. He's on the outside. You can just get back on the gas so much sooner. But as the tires wear, I want to jump my way down to that bottom. See, Big Jim tried to clear the 9 to Brennan. Wasn't quite clear and made some contact with the 9 as they came off forward. Brennan goes up to the wall. To the middle, looks like that's the 32 of Tiger. To the inside, that pink number 88, it's Allen trying to get to third. As Brennan and Allen kind of bang doors, the front two of Workman and Big Jim get away in first and second. Workman's had a great race so far. Once again, early on, though, we'll see if he can try and break the curse in the Elite Racer Series and try and get it done here in Iowa. Front 3 get away. Brennan gets away in third. Big Jim in fourth. The battle is for fifth. Tiger looking on Allen. But Allen maintains on the outside. Tiger has to get in behind him. Right behind them, it is number 54 of AJ. See right there. Just behind him, it's Pens in the number 8. Craig in the 7 and Tango in the 90. Already backing off a little right there is the yellow in this race will come out on lap 70. That is midway of lap 140. And from then on, it'll be about a little less than 70, maybe 68, 67 laps in that final stint. I believe a fuel window here is about 40 laps or so, maybe give or take a lap or 2, maybe 3. So I think that as long as no yellows come out, it'll just kind of be a straight split it around the midpoint in the halves to then make it the distance. I do believe that's what the fuel window is at a track like Iowa. As you can already see the different groups. Some people running top, some people running bottom, and they're shifting around every lap. Big Jim really liking that top side at this point as we're here to complete the 6th lap. Big Jim using the outside to his advantage in the 3 car. Workman in the 20 car trying to fend him off. Workman goes high. Big Jim goes to the bottom in turns 1 and 2. That's going to be the kind of lane game you're going to be playing all race long. You're going to want to try and make sure that you don't enter really behind someone. The lag bubble in this game can sometimes cause issues to where you hit the guy in front of you on the other guy's screen, but on your screen you're nowhere near him. You can be within a car length and hit him. So you have to watch out for that throughout this race. If you enter behind someone, you don't want to send anyone up the track like that. You see the front few are getting away, but it is tightening up as Workman falls to the back or to the front bumper of Big Jim. Brennan trying a very aggressive topside run in the 9 car up against the safer barrier as he comes off turn 4, running an ultra high side as Workman looks for a way to try and protect off the 3. Big Jim has a great run 8 laps into the race, and already the 3 car is coming alive. Also a big thing with Workman getting pole is that Big Jim wasn't able to get the lap 4, or excuse me, get the point 4 pole. If you get pole in this series, you get a point. So Big Jim didn't get that. Can make it just a little bit harder to lock up that championship, but if he can race how he's racing right now, he'll have no issues locking it up a race early. So once again, he and Brennan go to the bottom, Allen to the top with Workman a few car lengths in front of him. They all kind of come together down the backstretch and into turns 3 and 4. It's these 4 cars. Big Jim starting to lag a little bit in the 3 car, it looks like. Maybe a little bit of a lag spike right there. There, you just got loose. You know, you hit the apron here, really gets you loose. It possibly could have been that as well, and we could have just seen it abruptly right there. That's how loose it got. It's Workman running the outside well, still keeping Big Jim at bay behind him. Yeah, so the fuel window is about 40 laps here at Iowa, and those tires can make it all 40 laps. You'll be pitting before you need tires at a track like Iowa, or right when you need tires. So basically the tires last the fuel window, so you're more limited on fuel than you are on tires unless you burn the hell out of your tires. They're looking 3 wide for the lead. Workman not get through 1 and 2 well at all, and to his bottom comes the number 3 of Big Jim, looking to take the lead early on in this race. We're currently complete the 12th lap. Big Jim looks to lead his first laps, but Workman, too strong on the outside, clears the 3 once again. So I'm talking about that outside man early on the run. Can really make it work, but once we get later into the run, you maybe start to hit some seams up there and you start to get loose and wears out the tires, where you see Big Jim is lagging in the 3 car. Hopefully that doesn't cause any issues where he lags out, because he would love to get to the end of this race and not have to worry about Chicagoland next week. Into the wall for Brennan as he maybe pushed the limits a little bit too much that time by. Allen gets by to 3rd in the 88 car. Workman again running up against the wall. Big Jim to the bottom. Workman maybe a little loose right there, and that's going to give it to the 3. Big Jim now leads at Iowa in the second to last race of the season. Allen maybe a bump to Workman as they go up the racetrack for the 20. And Allen now looks to his inside. Brennan looking to make it a 3-car race. And I think that's Tiger right there looking to make it a 4-car race for second, as Big Jim looks to pull away in the 3-car with this race lead. And so really for a lot of these drivers, I would expect them to come on pit road around 100 laps to go. That'll be about 40 laps into this race. That'll be their pit stop for the first half of this race, and then obviously you'll make it on another 40 laps and then pit with maybe around 30 to go in that final stint. The front 5 running some different lengths. See Big Jim and Workman kind of the same lane. Allen high up the racetrack. It looked like it was Brennan kind of following the bottom lane, and Tiger maybe up about half or 3/4 of a lane. They work through 3 and 4. Again, Workman trying to use maybe something different than Big Jim, trying to find a way to get to that 3-car. Big Jim, though, just so smooth on that wheel, able to just make it work in the 3-car. We'll see what he can do right here, if he can try and pull away from the 4 cars behind him, and see Brennan again up the racetrack and into the wall in the 9-car. Workman fights to the bottom in the 20. Now he's under fire from the 80th of Allen, another driver who has come so close so many times for victories and somehow finds a way to not get. We did have a car on pit road. It looks like it was Penn's in the 8 making an early stop. I don't know if that was a mistake or if he just did not like the way his car is feeling and wanted to change it up here. Big Jim maybe starting to gap the 2 cars behind him a little bit. Allen looking like he's maybe a little bit faster than Workman at this point in the run. He's looking to now try the outside lane on the 20. We'll see if that outside's still in here. We're nearing 20 laps already into this run. That's how fast this race will go by. The race 140 laps is Big Jim now dropping to the back in the 3. Maybe the lag was too much and he wanted to get out of the way. Maybe they were telling him, hey, you're lagging really bad. And Big Jim said, all right, I'll move over. I'll let some of you guys go. Possibly that's what happened right there. And their car's starting to lag for Big Jim now. So I'll have to see if I can see anything on Brennan's, if you can see the 3 lagging or not. But yeah, now he's dropping back right there. He's dropped back to 4th now, right where he started. Obviously concerned about the lag issues, doesn't want to ruin anyone else's race, and obviously with it being early on, he can afford to do this. There's no points at midway, stuff like that, so he doesn't have to worry about it. So we're now, as we've completed lap 20, Workman back out in front. We are now 1/7 of the way through this race. So now we'll see if Workman obviously got out in front. What can Allen do in the 88? He's been looking faster than the 20 the last few laps. But now it looks like once the 20 got out in front, he started to gap the 88 a little bit more. So possibly Workman's car a little bit of a longer run car. Maybe it kind of works in the short run right off the line, and then as it kind of, maybe it builds to a tighter setup to where possibly it then comes in the longer run. Maybe he ran a little bit of a tighter setup, like a 3 or a 4, which You know, maybe not in the middle of the run when your car is still turning well. It doesn't work that well, but once the car starts turning too well, you definitely want that tighter setup, as that can happen here at Iowa. So, and that's Workman did. But once again, Allen closes a little bit in. You have now Tiger in third, Big Jim in fourth, and then fifth it's Brennan. You kind of have little pairs right here. You have Workman and Allen for the lead, Tiger and Big Jim third and fourth, and then fifth and sixth it is AJ behind Brennan. Looks like there's a battle for fifth shaping up right here. Brennan looks like he's struggling in the 9 car. Something I've noticed with racing with him here at Iowa is that he really does like the shorter run here. As the longer run builds on, it starts to get too hard to handle at points. And even that, you know, with just a preset in, with just a slider setup, it's very hard on the longer run unless you choose something like a 3 or a 2. If you're on a 4 even, it gets loose. If you're on a 5, it's going to get very loose. So, you know, on a preset, on a slider like that, very hard in the first run. On the long run, you can definitely make some adjustments to make it better on the long run, but you also sacrifice that short run speed. I've had that happen before, where in a race I put it in a setup and it took off so tight, wouldn't turn on the restart at all, but after about 20-25 laps it really took off. But for me, that was just too late. You know, you can make the adjustments like that, but you also have to make sure you don't make too much of an adjustment like that. Obviously the run is only going to be 40 laps on tires. So if you do 40 laps and you're getting good at lap 25, you've given up 25 laps. You only have 15 laps of when your car is good. So you have to kind of try and make it so that, you know, for the first 15 maybe it's not good, but then for the last 25 you're good. Maybe even split it 20 and 20. You know, for the first 20 you're not all so great, but then as you near lap 20 you start to get a little better. Once you get to that lap 20 point, you get better. As you can see, Craig on the apron in the 7 car maybe just came off pit road, maybe an issue in the 7, but he's going to give way to the front 4 who get around his outside, as it looks like he maybe had some contact with Big Jim, but Big Jim able to get through and keeps touch with the front 3. So it is still these 4. The battle for 5th still going on. Brennan with AJ up his bumper and looking to the outside with these front 4 in a line. And just interests me, this Workman and Allen battle. 1 lap, Allen gains, and it's for a few laps, you know, 3, 4, 5 laps straight. The 88 closes in on the 20. And then for maybe 2, 3 laps, the 20 pulls away from the 88. It's kind of an interesting mesh right there. See right there, Workman again. I mean, started to pull the 88 a little bit, but now this lap, the 88's gaining it back. I am interested with that. You know, is it just Workman saving some stuff at points? Is Allen pushing and saving? See, Allen under fire from Tiger to turns 1 and 2. He looks to the 88's inside. Allen still trying to use that top side well to get clear of the third 2, and he does do that. So the outside's still working well for the 88 of Allen. Big Jim going to jump up high in the 3. Maybe trying to find if there's some speed up there. Or maybe trying to get away from some laggy cars. Maybe they were lagging around him. He wanted to get out of the lane that they're racing in the corner, which is good about Iowa. If there are cars lagging in front of you, you can always get away from them at a track like this because they are running multiple grooves. And Allen really trying on the outside. Maybe got to the wall. Tiger as well in the 32 trying hard. See Big Jim with the lap car of Craig just behind him. Craig, I think, is on fresher tires. Just came off pit road a few laps ago. That's why you see him really making some charge on the outside and I guess trying to get a lap or 2 back, but at this point he might just want to ride in behind them because there are some battles going on. See Tiger getting a little loose, and Big Jim looks who's inside the 3 cars. Tango will hit pit road in the 90. Tango coming in second, well, third in points, second in points of the people that are racing. Tiger may have gotten the wall right there, and Big Jim will get by in the 3 car, so move the 3 of Big Jim to third place once again. Maybe the lag has subsided for Big Jim. He's able to get back going in that 3, and see if he can try and get back to lead where he was before he had to step out because there was possible some lag issues. As Workman will pit from the lead in the 20 right in front of the pack. Allen gets sideways off 4. He'll be able to lead the lap as they cross the corner, but Big Jim has the outside lane to turn 1, and they can still go about 6 more laps. However, for those drivers, they're basically splitting it, right? They're going about 35, 35, maybe a little bit more on the second run, but they're doing a pretty good split right there. Some of these drivers might stay out longer. Big Jim will stay out, but Allen comes down pit on the 88 looking for those fresh tires sooner. As now at the front, it's Big Jim and Tiger first and second. They have not yet pitted here in Iowa. Another thing about Iowa, tricky pit road to get into, comes up on you faster than you think. You can easily speed at a track like this, so they have to watch out for that, for sure. They have to watch out for speeding. See here, still the front two staying out. Looks like Brennan in third, yielding to come down pit road this time. But when do Big Jim and the others come down the pit lane? Big Jim has a nice gap over, I think that's Tiger that stayed out with them, who looks like is struggling. Big Jim's going to dive it down to that yellow line. Not pitting yet. Looks like Tiger behind him will come down pit road. No, he's going to stay on their lap with Big Jim. So they're still staying out. 3 in the 32. I think they're just going to run this out all the way. They might go all the way out to the edge of their fuel window. Actually, the 3 is going to come down now. Tiger's going to stay out longer. So Big Jim pits, and now Tiger will lead in the 32 car. One of a few drivers, I think he might be actually the only driver to have stayed out on the racetrack. So it looks like Tiger going long here and maybe trying to catch a yellow to trap people lap down, but with only 9 cars in the race and everyone getting spread out like this, it'd be very hard for yellow to come out. You have to think that this strategy is kind of just a Hail Mary strategy. So here he comes into pit road now, 1 lap after the 3 of Big Jim. So we'll have to see how the undercuts work for drivers. Like we saw the number 20 come in sooner than anyone. There he is entering turn 3. There's Brennan, but where is driver like Big Jim? He's on pit road now, waiting to leave, but where is Workman in the 20, Allen in the 88, who pitted sooner than the 3 of Big Jim? Workman easily by the 3. The 88 easily by the 3. See right there, there's Big Jim. Getting up to speed now. You see how a few laps longer on tires really do it to you. Just those few laps more on tires. Now Big Jim's going to have to make up that ground he lost. Here comes Tiger. Actually going to beat the 3 car, or be right with the 3. So either Tiger had a lot better pit entry, or the pit stop in the 32 is just better, but got out right with Big Jim. But now the question is, how are the front two going to do? Obviously, Workman has the older tires of the front runners because he was the first into pit road, but he has a nice gap over the 88 car of Allen, who also has worse tires than the 3 and the 32. So will they be able to run down the 88, the 3 and the 32, and then will they also be able to run down the 20? I think that's a big question right now. Is that time by, that was completion of 40, excuse me, completion of 41, so we are now under 100 laps to go already in Iowa. It's been caution free, and obviously with only 9 cars, it's going to be very hard to get yellow when everyone's kind of spread out like this, which, I mean, good and bad for the drivers. It gets the race over faster, so if you're not having a good day, good night, it gets the race over a lot easier for you, but also you don't really get a break until lap 70, so you're gonna have to go all these 70 laps pretty hard. As you can see Tiger right there going hard. He may have actually gotten to the wall off turn 2. Big Jim opens up the gap between them. That's the battle for third, but they're also running down the 88 of Allen. See right there on the front stretch, trying to keep it out in front. He just got into the wall entering turn 1. Very easy to do here at Iowa. Get into the wall on the front stretch, a little curve, and very hard to get off of that wall when you get into it because of the curve. There you see Workman up in front of Allen having a good run, a decent run to this race at this point. He's definitely led the most laps so far from pole position. But you do have to watch out. You know, obviously Workman played that strategy, and he came in sooner than anyone. Was that showing your hand too soon, right? If he ends up staying out front and at the yellow, being the leader, do other people see that strategy and they go, okay, I'm going to do that the second half of the race and maybe do it better? You know, Workman came down maybe like, I think it was like lap 33 or so, just before midway of the first half, a quarter of the race. Do other people say, maybe I'll do it on 30, maybe I'll do it 31, 32, to where I know I can still make it on fuel and tires, but I'm just going to beat you onto pit road because I know how much those tires mean. And so far, they haven't really meant anything for me. Right now, Allen hasn't really closed in. Big Jim's pulled away from Tiger. So I think that's just Big Jim being fast at this point. I think Tiger is also gaining on the 80 a little bit, but I think Big Jim's car is just that much better. I mean, we saw before the lag issues happened, the 3 had passed the 20 and was starting to pull away until he started lagging, and he said, all right, I'm going to drop out. So now Allen in that number 88 sees a mirror growing with the number 3 of Big Jim and is desperately hoping that Big Jim stays back, but it's going to be very hard to hope that into reality, because I think the reality is going to be the 3 is going to pass him in just a few laps. I mean, we're coming around to start the 50th lap in just a few laps, and Big Jim might be able to get him before the completion of lap 50. That's how fast that 3 car is at this racetrack. I mean, it's very, reminiscent of a track like Richmond and New Hampshire, stuff like that, where you just get off the gas in the middle of the corner. Big Jim's really, really good at tracks like that, where you have to finesse the throttle and just overall know how to handle the car. Big Jim doing a really good job here at Iowa, just continuing that trend of being the man to beat at these types of tracks. And it could get him the championship 1 week early, as Tango's not had a good race. And Allen still in front of him is a good sign for Allen until the 3 passes him. Once the 3 passes, that's a 2-point swing in favor of Big Jim, as there he goes to the inside. That's for second. Big Jim will get that second spot away from Allen pretty easily right there. So that is right there. 51st lap. He did it right there. The 3 up to second. Workman still leads, but as he moves up to second, he gains 2 points on Allen. That puts Allen 35 points back, which means Allen would barely be in championship fight. Tango, I think, at this point would be out because of how far back he is. And you look back to Brendan, he's behind. He needs to finish ahead of Big Jim. If he does not finish ahead of Big Jim, Brendan has no realistic shot. He has no shot at all, no mathematical shot at the championship. So really, at this point, Allen might be the lone soldier trying to keep it left, as Tango is somewhere around 7th or 8th, I would say, at this point. As we obviously saw the front 6 being from Brendan in 5th and then AJ in 6th. Tango's back around 7th or 8th. So assuming that he's at the best 7th, which we don't know where he is right now because there is no leaderboard, unfortunately, sadly. But if we were to look at the point structure, right now Big Jim would be getting 32 points. 7th would get 26. So that would be 6 points in favor of Big Jim, which would be enough. That would put Tango 37 back, and Big Jim would have the championship. So that's, right now Tango would run at 7th. If he's even further back, 8th or 9th, then Tango is definitely out. And Allen still just clinging on to hope right now. But if Big Jim wins the race, it's basically all over. But we are nearing the midpoint caution in this race. We'll go back up to Workman as he's catching some lap traffic up the road. That's Tango. So Tango's right now, I believe. Penn's may have actually come down a few times, so Penn's might be last place right now, a lap or 2 down. But Craig and Tango right now are in danger of going a lap down in the 7 and the 90. So Workman, he'll look to get there and lap these guys. Oh, Craig's actually spinning in front of him in the 7. Tango may have also gotten involved. There he just got slow because of it. So far, Workman is still racing up to turn 1. We stay green, but that's going to put Craig a lap down. That's going to put Tango a lap down. Penn's also up the road for the race leader of Workman. And obviously a dangerous moment there for the race leader. His lap car spun right from him. That's not what you want to see if you're leading this race by a good bit and you've led about you've led the most laps and led almost all of them. I was going to say, Workman is nearing lap 70 here. He's within 15 laps of it. So we're getting down to that point where the yellow's going to be coming out soon. And then from then on, you have no more planned yellows. Once we get the restart to get the final 70 laps underway, no more yellows, and let's try and hold on. As Workman works inside of number 8 of Penn's. There you see Big Jim trying to gain in the 3 as Workman maybe not happy with the 8 a little bit right there. Thought he didn't give him enough room and may have actually put him in the wall, but easily pulls away from the 8 of Pens, so as no retaliation can happen on that moment. Workman dives into turns 1 and 2. See back there the lap traffic of Pens and Tango. Gonna fight with each other right now. There's Big Jim just behind those two as they get side by side. He's hoping that a lane clears so he can try and move by them both, because he has been steaming up towards the front ever since the lag has subsided. He's been coming forward as Pens put it in the wall. Tango stays in behind him. Now Tango looks for a pass in the 8 car, and it's a mess that luckily Big Jim was able to get by. And honestly, props to Tango with that, because Tango could have easily tried to dart out from behind the 8 because Pens put it in the wall, and Tango could have been like, I need to pass you right now. But instead he said, I'm standing behind you so I don't ruin the 3 car, who is on the lead lap running in second, trying to chase down the lead. That was a very, very class act by Tango right there. Just knowing the situation, knowing his surroundings, making sure that nothing bad happened to one of the lead lap cars as he was a lap car. And Workman maybe starting to get a little loose. Big Jim starting to gain. See Tiger gaining on Allen. Once again, Tiger has the freshest tires of anyone out there. He's the last car to pit. Allen was one of the first to pit. So Tiger definitely has a tire advantage. And it's definitely showing with how he's closing in on that number 88 back there. As you can see Allen only just a few car lengths in front of Tiger, trying to hang on for about 7 more laps until we get to lap 70 and the midway point of this race, which will then warrant a yellow flag and then pit stops, and then one last maybe green flag run unless we get a yellow to the end of the race. You see Tango moving low on Pens. Craig just came off pit road with some fresh tires. All this is good for Tango with Craig going to put multiple laps down. Pens might be multiple laps down as well. If Tango's only 1 down and the cars around him are 2 down, 3 down, that really works out well for Tango. He'll be the only car 1 lap down and get his free pass. If he's bound with Pens for the free pass, then that's definitely why he's racing them so hard. As Big Jim crossing the stripe behind Workman, who is the race leader in the 20. They have about 5 laps until we get to midway in this race. Remember, the midway yellow comes out the lap before halfway, so everyone can possibly come down pit road at halfway. And Big Jim working to try and lead at the midpoint of this race. He's gaining on Workman. He's been gaining since the pit stops. He's come from definitely a few seconds back. Here he is now on the back door of the 20 of Workman with less than 5 laps to go until we get to the midway yellow. Once again, no points award at midway, so Big Jim doesn't have to push too hard. There's nothing on the line here except for pride. We'll have to see if he makes this interesting or does he stay behind the 20. We're going to find out here soon. So we're nearing the midpoint of this race. Nice run for Big Jim, rolling the top well. Workman going to give him the top side as he got loose. And the 3 car now leads this race just laps before midway. Workman not giving in. The battle for third also on Allen has it, but Tiger wants it. And if Tiger passes Allen, then well, I guess the 3, since he passed the 20, he's in the championship spot right now. If Big Jim were to finish here, he's the champion, because the winner gets 35 points. Just a few laps until we get to that midpoint of this race. Big Jim across the stripe. He even got a little loose that time off 4. Alexi Workman can't stay with him at this stage in the run. Allen and Tiger. Tiger's got by Allen for 3rd. Move Allen back to 4th. As here's the leader, Big Jim. I think this right here will be midway. This right here is going to be the yellow. So Big Jim will cross the line with the lead. Caution is out. Workman in 2nd in the 20. 3rd place will be Tiger. 4th will be Allen. Brennan should be 5th. And now we'll get to see what everyone does on pit road. There's Tango getting his lucky dog. He'll get back on the lead lap. He lives to fight another day here at Iowa. So everyone that's on the lead lap will definitely come down. Maybe Pens and Craig stay out because they had just been on pit road, possibly try and get a lap back virtue of the wave around. As here they come onto pit road, led by the 3 of Big Jim. Workman in 2nd as they all enter in, trying to get as fast as they can so they can get as good of a run down pit road as they can. Maybe try and pass the 3 off pit road. See, Workman, if he didn't speed, did a really good job getting to that line at pit road speed, carrying as much as he could, so much momentum into pit road, which will carry him all the way down pit road and could get him off in front. So you can see all the lead that cars on pit road, all 7 of them. So there's Big Jim in his pit stall. Obviously 4 fresh tires, 2 cans of fuel, which will set up one more needed pit stop in this race. Big Jim down and away, but where is Workman in the 20, who had a good entry? Big Jim, I think, beat him off in the 3 by about the amount that he came in front of the 20. So it was close, but Big Jim able to do it in the 3. Workman 2nd, and Tiger is 3rd. Allen is 4th, Brennan is 5th, AJ is 6th. And it looks like Tango should line up in 7th. We should also have some pens may have lagged out. Craig took the wave around, so he'll start behind Tango, which means everyone will start basically in the positions they were in, 1st through 8th. And AJ kind of backing off as here we go. We get to choose this lap, the choose rule. Top or bottom is the question. At the line, Big Jim goes bottom, Workman goes top. To the bottom also for Tiger. Top for Allen, top for Brennan. AJ as well went to the top, so Tango went to the bottom in the 90. He'll line up 5th. Then you have Craig as well. He'll line up tail end of the outside lane. So we'll see how this restart goes for everyone where they picked, and we'll see if it works for maybe Tango, who chose spots on the inside instead of choosing the outside, what many drivers did. Before we go back green, thank our sponsors of Double G Construction and Roofing and Richmar Florist for sponsoring the Elite Racer Series. Just 2 races remain in the season. We're nearing the conclusion of this race. The final half of the race in Iowa is underway. 68 laps to go. It's Big Jim and Workman, the 2 drivers that have led the most laps here tonight. They lead to turns 1 and 2. Big Jim out in front in the 3. Workman up the hill in 2nd. Trying to hold off now Allen, who gets to 3rd. Tiger into the wall from 4th. And in 5th is the 9 of Brennan. Brennan has a mirror full. Excuse me, Tiger has a mirror full of Brennan. As Workman maybe trying to use some short run speed that he has over the 3 of Big Jim. We're getting word that the 8 of Pence's power went out, so that's an unfortunate issue there. Right at the midway point. That to happen. AJ back there in 6th as the front 5 try to get away. 6th, 7th, 8th, all right in line. Up front, people start to move out. Workman for the lead on the inside, but Big Jim has the outside preferred lane at this stage in the run. Easily clears the 20 with the outside momentum run right there as they race to turns 1 and 2. Now they swap into turns 1 and 2. Big Jim went bottom this time and Workman went top. Does Workman get the run to carry him into turns 3 and 4 and possibly make a pass right here? He's going to dive it to the bottom of 3 and 4. Something he can very definitely do here in Iowa. He's trying to make it stick against the 3. Gets beside him, but can't keep it down there. The 3 of Big Jim keeps the lead. Workman again's going to try the bottom in 1 and 2. Try maybe some big send slide job maneuver. Allen on the outside in 3rd as they race door to door for the lead. Workman got there that time. A great 1 and 2 for the 20. But the 3 fights back outside of 3 and 4. And noses ahead and clears the 20 to 1 and 2. But Workman again not going to give up on that inside. Dives it in deep. Front 4 starting to maybe gap a little bit from 5th place Brennan. As it's 2 distinct battles. For 1st, it's the battle. For 3rd, it's the battle. Brennan in 5th trying to find a way up onto the front 4s. They all ride the bottom of Brennan goes to the top of 3 and 4. Big Jim still holds the lead after an intense battle with Workman in 2nd. Allen still fending off Tiger in 3rd as they're now on equal tires. Looks like Allen has the advantage over the 32 in that regard. Oh, and Tiger got the wall pretty big right there. He drops back. Big Jim trying to dive to the bottom, but Workman dove down there first. And it was not a good entrance into the corner for the 3 as the 20's going to be able to complete it maybe. Workman led that lap. Through 1 and 2, a slide job attempt plays into the wall for the 20. And Big Jim back out in front of the 3. Workman, very intense battle right there with Big Jim, but drove too aggressively into 1 and 2 and got into the wall. Now he has Allen up his bumper, and 88 up behind the 20. Close contact racing there. Battle for fourth now on as Brennan gets in front of the 32 Tiger after Tiger hit the wall. That's going to be battle for fourth down the road. Can Workman try and gain back on the threers? Big Jim's long run speed starting to kick in now. We saw last run it took about 8-10 laps, and then that 3 car took off and was gone after some slower short run speed. Workman looks like was better towards the beginning, and then the middle was his disaster point after about 8-10 laps, and then the end got a little bit better. So far, it looks like for Big Jim, it's working out well in the 3 car because he's pulled away from the 20 of Workman who had gotten to the wall going for a pass on the 3. It looked like he maybe had it if he was just doing what he did normally, where he dove it down deep into the bottom of 1 and 2, but instead went for some sort of slide job attempt, trying to take the 3's line away. He ended up getting to the wall. Workman desperately trying for that win. Allen desperately trying for a win. Big Jim's won many times in the Elite Racer Series and could deny Workman and Allen another win in this series. I think for Big Jim it could be a second straight championship if he can finish it out how he started it so far. It's been not perfect, I won't say, for the 3, as Allen had a moment off of 2 and is now back into a battle with Tiger and Brennan. That's 3 cars for third now, as they'll be 3 wide through 1 and 2. That's showing how distinct the grooves are at Iowa. Allen used the top, Tiger used the middle, Brennan used the bottom. Allen definitely got the best of that. The 88 Tiger did not get through the corner well at all, but he's going to have a nice setup here into the 9 of Brennan. He entered the corner well, but couldn't get the exit. Thought that was going to work out pretty well for the 32. Didn't work out as well as I thought it was going to. These two, Brennan and Tiger, started second and third, only behind the 20 of Workman. Allen started outside the top 5. I think it was around 6th place or so. So you had Big Jim starting 4th. This 3-car battle not going to go away. Brennan now going to be the one in the middle because Tiger goes to the bottom 3 wide. You have Allen on the outside of the 88. Allen again trying to use that outside lane, but Tiger used the bottom well. Cleared the 9, is now side by side the 88 down the back to turns 3 and 4. Tiger might have the 3rd spot from the 88 of Allen. I think he's clear up. If he wants to get up quickly, he will. Allen will slice back to the inside. They'll still battle for 3rd right here. I think Allen, though, I don't know if he knows the point situation to where he's only into the fight for the championship if Big Jim finishes 2nd and he himself finishes in 3rd. So at this point, Allen knows that if he finishes 4th or lower, Big Jim would have to basically finish down with them, you know, unless something crazy happens here in Iowa. Looks like that battle for 3rd might be starting to calm down. Allen might have been able to keep it this time. So it looks like Allen, Tiger, they're still battle for 3rd and 4th. This is right now the closest battle of the front runners. Big Jim starting to pull away from the 20 of Workman. These two, Tiger and Allen, continue to fight for 3rd and 4th. Tiger on the inside. That black-orange car. That pink-black car. Number 88 of Allen. So right there, that was 51 laps to go already in this race. We're nearing the 50 lap to go mark. See Allen using that outside still on the 32 of Tiger. Oh, they're going to make some contact into turns 3 and 4. Again, Tiger all sorts of sideways, and now Brennan closes back up to try and make it 3 cars once again. These 3 for 3rd are just not giving in on this battle. I thought Allen had it, was going to be able to pull away, but Tiger's been chipping off, and the more these two battle, the more Brennan's going to be able to close in. I mean, that contact down the backstretch could have actually resulted in a crash if Tiger did not save that car as well as he did. Makes Allen that time get right down to the yellow line. But meanwhile, the front 2, they pulled away. It's Big Jim leading Workman. They're in a class of their own right now, about 3-4 seconds ahead of this battle for 3rd. I'd say Workman's maybe about 2 seconds in front of it, but Big Jim's about 4 seconds in front of it. That's just how good the 3 cars been. Once again, they'll battle for the spot. Allen on the outside, Tiger on the inside. tries to get it this time, but still, Allen getting the run off the top and clears once again the 32 off to turns 1 and 2. So, it's not working for Tiger on the inside. You see Allen just kind of parking it on the bottom of the racetrack. Brennan still lurking in the 5th position. I believe 6th is still AJ, and 7th is probably Tango or Craig at this stage of the race. So there goes Tiger, looking to the bottom in turns 1 and 2. Trying to get by the 88 of Allen once again. This time, pulls even. Down the back stretch, the 88 pulls him a little bit into turns 3 and 4, but the third two will have it on entry. Can he clear the 88? Allen might try and look to get to the outside again. Tiger gives him a lane up top to let the 88 run the top side, and the race door to door to turns 1 and 2 again. This time, can Tiger clear? Maybe try and pull up in front. He'll do it right there. He pulls up in front through the middle of the corner. Allen has no choice but get to the back of the number 32, and Tiger clears for third, but Allen's not going to give in the 88. You know that for sure. These two have produced one heck of a battle for this third spot. Meanwhile, the battle for the lead, I mean, it's not a battle. The 3 still gapping off the 20. We actually have a few more cars in pit road. Tango might be one of them. I don't think that's strategy. That might be a lag out moment. Same with Craig. So at the moment, there's 6 cars on the racetrack. And if Tango doesn't move, Tango's going to get whatever it was, 7th or 8th where he was running. Obviously, Pens was out, you know, at the midway point. So Pens will be scored last. But I think the big question is, where was Tango? At best, he's getting 7th. That's not a good sight if you're anyone but Big Jim. As Big Jim's, you know, chance for the championship at this stage has just gotten a lot easier in that 3 car. Because right now, Allen and Brennan are his only factors into that, and they're both running behind him, far enough behind him to where he would be able to easily pull away. At the moment, you know, Big Jim, excuse me, is getting 35 points for winning this race. As Tiger might finally get away from that battle for third, but Big Jim's getting 35 points at this point. Tiger right now in third, so Allen's back in 4th. Allen's getting 29. That is a 6-point swing, which will put Allen 39 points back. You have to be within 36 or less. Not looking good. Especially for Brennan as well, who was behind Allen into points. He's still running behind him, so that's not good. Tango, at best, is going to get 7th here tonight. It possibly could have been 8th, depending on where Craig was. But if I remember correctly, you know, you had 4th gets 29 points, and then obviously goes 28 for 5th, and then 27 for 6th, and then 26 right there. So 26 points at best for Tango would be 9 points below Big Jim, which would easily drop him out of that battle. So at the moment, Big Jim just trying to milk it home to victory. Even I think if he were to get 2nd in this race, he'd still easily have it. There's Big Jim, and how far he's pulled away from Workman. Don't really see him anywhere near because that 3 car's on rails. The only thing that's going to derail the 3 car here tonight is going to be a possible pit road issue, as now these drivers are in the fuel window. They're in the fuel and tire window. They can make it from here to the end of the race. So we'll see what everyone decides to do. Yeah, I'm going to wonder if anyone wants to short pit here. If, you know, if the pack's just too spread out to where they're saying that strategy doesn't really matter at this point. You know, everyone's so spread out. It's Workman in 2nd right now that we're focusing on. We'll just have to see, you know, who makes the first move to fair is actually going to be Brennan. There he goes from 5th place. He's hit the pits in the 9 car. So he comes in early, maybe trying to leapfrog the 2 in front of him. He's obviously battling Tiger and Allen. Maybe he can try and leap them and see where he ends up. There's Allen, working his way through 3 and 4, still staying out on the racetrack. Brennan was also one of the early ones to pit last run as well, so I'm not shocked about this at all. So when does Big Jim dare come down the pit lane? There you can see the gap he has over Workman, almost a full straightaway. Back to the 20 car. The 3 just maintaining out in front. Working well for him so far. Now this dude's just, he doesn't even have to be aggressive on the pit road. He has to be conservative. He doesn't have to push it hard. He doesn't have to get near the speed limit. He just has to coast on in there. No one's trying to undercut to get an advantage on tires. So at this stage for Big Jim, he's able to go out as long as he wants to. No one's really able to control what he's going to do. So you see Workman coming up pit road. Allen also coming up pit road. They're going to try and undercut Tiger. So Allen maybe trying to get back in front of the 32. Trying to hold him off. Brennan trying to undercut both of them. And Workman just trying to come in and do something different from the race leader, which you have to respect. We'll see when Big Jim dares hit the pit road. At some point he's going to have to come down pit lane, but he obviously can draw it out because he had a huge lead over the field behind. He doesn't have to risk it. They see Brennan behind him 3 laps down. Obviously on fresh tires will gain on the 3 car Big Jim. As Big Jim will hit pit road this time by. There you can see that nice conservative entry. Not taking any risks in the 3 car. Easily on the pit road. Tiger, just like he did last run, the way the driver stays out the longest, he now leads this race but has to make a pit stop. He is not yet pitted in the 32. This is exactly what he did the last run. He went basically to the edge of the fuel window, came in once he had no fuel left. Tiger again doing that same strategy, coming in, you know, as late as anyone else, trying to get the tires later and make a late run. There he is, 1 lap after Big Jim. He'll come in aggressively on the pit road because he knows Allen and Brennan are the battle. There you see Allen behind the 9 car. So Brennan right now is the man to chase for 3rd. There you see Big Jim leaving. He's easily going to beat the 20 of Workman off pit road. Workman came in a few laps sooner, so will gain time. And obviously was probably a lot more aggressive entering pit road, but Big Jim just had to take it conservative. He did lose a lot of his gap, but he's off pit road easily in front of the 20 car. Now to see for the battle for 3rd, where does Tiger come out in relation to Brendan, who left both the 80 and the 32? It's going to look like, where does Tiger come out in relation to the 3 and the 88? There's Brennan. He beats the 32. The 88 beats the 32. So now the battle for 3rd is going to be between the same 3 drivers of Brennan, Allen, and Tiger. But they have some gap between them, which will close because of some of the newer tires and some of the setups, which last better in the longer run. Meanwhile, what can Workman do? While his car might be better than the 3 car at this stage, what can he do to try and pass the 3 car and try and hold him off? If he can get by him, he can definitely make it hard for the 3 to pass him back. So Big Jim's car isn't as good in the short run right now. Can Workman try and find a way around, and will that undercut have worked out well? The undercut, and I also would want to give it to the fact that he probably pushed down the pit road a lot harder than Big Jim did. Racing up to 1-2, Big Jim running high. Workman on the bottom. Right there. I also like to point out, while we were talking about this, this is going to be the battle for the lead. AJ had not yet pitted in the 54. He was still out there. He went to the distance of the fuel window. He finally came up pit road in the 54 car. So I wanted to give a shout out there to AJ. Still in the race, was in 6th. Stayed out longer than anyone in the 54 car. Maybe trying to hope for a yellow to come out, some craziness where he could have trapped people a lap down. Now the lead goes back to Big Jim and Workman, who are, once again, they're with each other. But after about 10 laps on tires, Big Jim's car comes in. So Workman needs to find a way around the 3 car now. If he doesn't get by him now, he won't ever have a chance to get by the 3 car of Big Jim. His best chance is just running that bottom and trying to slide up in front of him. You know, Big Jim gets the run exit, but if you get beside him, you know, beneath him, throughout the corner, you can try and make it work. It's Big Jim back down to the bottom, right in front of the 20. Try to take that line away just a little bit. See the gap they have over a 3rd as well. They've pulled away. It's just been these 2 this race. They've led the most laps. They've probably led all but about 10 laps. The others coming because of pit stops and strategies. Tiger and AJ staying out longer than anyone. Otherwise, it's just been these 2 that have led under green flag runs. The only times they haven't were when, obviously, pit cycles happened. Workman again pressuring the 3 of Big Jim, trying to find a way to get around him so that he can try and hold him off once the 3 car gets better, or did Workman make good enough adjustments to where he can be with him the whole run? He tries another dive attempt in 1, but it wasn't enough, and he's going to lose ground because of it. Big Jim pulls a gap over the 20. But we'll see if Workman can stay close enough to make one more move or a few more moves. I think Workman right now has to be driving harder than he has all race long, because he knows that 3 car is going to get so much better the longer it runs. Workman, you can see desperately trying. He may have hit the apron that time as the car kind of went up the racetrack. Big Jim still holding on to the lead. The battle for third is tightening up. Brennan has third, but is on older tires than the 2 cars behind him. Allen's on older tires than the car behind him. So at the moment they run, it's oldest tires, older tires, and old tires in that order. The oldest tires out front, the newer tires in the back. Still the battle for the lead starting to grow now. As Big Jim's car, about 10 laps on the tires, it started to come in for the 3. He's starting to gap the 20, and bar a mistake or a yellow, it is his race to lose at this point. Brennan trying to hold on to third off of the 88 of Allen, who tries to then hold off the 32 of Tiger possibly. Allen looks for third right there through 3 and 4. Getting down to the inside off 4, and they'll be side by side across the start finish line to turns 1 and 2. Brennan might have to give in right here and just let Tiger and Allen battle it out. The 2 on the newer tires. Brennan, though, fighting on the outside, using that run. Tiger goes up with the 9 to shoot the middle 3. That's for third place. Tiger through the middle. Can he make it work? What can Allen do on the bottom? And Brennan up top, maybe into the wall. Had the lift, and now it's Tiger and Allen side by side for that spot to turns 1 and 2. Tiger shot the middle. He made it work right there. Can he try and clear for third? Can Allen try and keep third? Remember, Tiger's on the freshest tires of these 3. Brennan's on the oldest. Tiger might make it work right there. The outside through 3 or 4. Allen not giving up on the bottom. That was a really good corner for being on the bottom for the 88. He stayed with the 32 all the way down the front stretch. Now down the back straight. It's right there. 88 maybe popped the wall a little bit. Tiger clears, and on those fresher tires will he pull away from the 88 now. Tiger up to third, behind the front 2 who have been the class of the field. Big Jim leads the number 20 of Workman. And we're nearing the final 20 laps here in the penultimate race, or we're in the final 20 laps of the penultimate race of the season. 17 laps to go at the line. There you can see the distance between the front 2 as they catch the lap car, number 54 of AJ. There's only 6 cars left. Those 6 in order. It's Big Jim, then Workman. Then you have the 32 of Tiger, Allen in the 88, the 9 of Brendan, the 54 of AJ. That is the field at the moment here in Iowa. It's these 2 that right now with the shot to win. It's Big Jim versus Workman. The battle for third is Tiger versus Allen versus Brennan. AJ in 6th tried some strategy, which kind of put him off sequence and away from anyone else around him. There you can see him just about straightway ahead of the front 2. Next to the battle for third is starting to move into a battle for 4th as Brennan looks for a way around the number 88 of Workman. That's 4th and 5th. Third place Tiger trying to get away as the leaders are in the final 15 laps. And you know, if you're Workman at this point, you're coming around to 14 to go, you think back to before that pit stop, that last pit stop, where you had that run at Big Jim. You took it to the bottom, and you dove, and you slid up, tried a slide job, and got into the wall. In my opinion, Workman is thinking back to that moment. He's going, man, wish I would have been able to make that stick. If I would have gotten out in front of him, who knows what I could have done with that track position. You know, could I have held him off, or is this track just too multi-groove to make that work? The leaders come around to just a dozen laps to go, 12 to go at the line. Big Jim, comfortable gap over Workman. I won't say it's a good gap. It's comfortable enough to where he can rest a little easy, but the 20 is still in his rearview mirror, keeping the 3, you know, keeping the 3 honest, keeping Big Jim honest. That's all Workman can really do at this point. Just try and stay with the 3 and hope Big Jim makes a mistake. He's not known for many mistakes, the 3 of Big Jim is, but you never know when one might strike. Now just 11 to go, 10 at the line for our race leaders. Here it is, 10 laps to go. Big Jim looking to lock up the championship 1 week early by winning here tonight in Iowa. He'd get 35 points at the moment. Allen would be getting only 29. That's a 6-point swing, and once again, just wouldn't be enough for anyone. Allen would fall to 39 back. Brennan would fall even further back, as he's getting, at the moment, 28 points. 7 points out, he'd be 42 back. Tango is possibly getting, something like 26 points or so. Be 9 points. He'd fall to 40 back. No one would stay within a race of the number 3 of Big Jim. And at the moment, he can cruise to a title. Even if Workman were to somehow catch the 3 and pass him, and Workman win the race, Big Jim would still get 32 points, which would still be enough over the likes of Allen and such like that. Allen would lose 3 points. It would still fall to 36 back. That would be enough, just enough for Big Jim to claim the championship. Brennan would still be far out. Tango would still be enough out. So for Big Jim, as long as he gets first or second in this race, he is the Elite Racer Series champion, because no one else will be mathematical shot after this one. They're catching AJ. Lap traffic, I'm sure we'll let them go easily, as the leader's now coming up to 6 laps to go. The battle for third obviously has calmed down, so we haven't gone back and focused on it. Tiger's pulled away from Allen, who's pulled away from Brennan. So they're going to finish in their respective 3rd, 4th, and 5th positions. It's Big Jim right there. That's 5 laps to go. Excuse me, this is 5 laps to go for Big Jim. So it's just 5 laps to go in Iowa. Gaining just a little bit on AJ. Workman starting to fade in the 20 as the 3 cars' long run speed starts to become evident. Down the back to turns 3 and 4. Big Jim now come to see 4 laps to go. See if AJ wants to stay in the lead lap very badly, or if he'll let Big Jim go on by him. This time by 3 to go for the 3 car. Been outstanding tonight after the lag issues subsided. He really has not had any issue being able to keep the lead. Only on the short run for the first 10 laps or so is where people were able to battle him. Once 10 laps that the 3 car took off, and see right there, he's pulling the 20. There's just nothing Workman can do against speed like that. It's insane. Coming to 2 to go. Big Jim just has a little over a mile and a half to go. He'll be a 2-time Elite Racer Series champion in just the 2nd season of the series. He'll be the only champion of the league if he finishes out 1 final lap without any issues. 1 lap to go for Big Jim, the points leader, looking to lock up the championship 1 week early here in Iowa. Through 1 and 2, and down the backstretch. Comfortable gap, able to keep AJ on the lead lap. Through 3 and 4, it's gonna be a win and a championship for Big Jim in Iowa. He scores it in the 2nd to last race of the season. He is a 2-time Elite Racer Series champion. Big Jim over Workman, over Tiger, and Allen, Brennan, and AJ. But it is the man on top that gets all the glory. Big Jim is the champion of the Elite Racer Series officially right there. No one close enough in points to catch him. The 3 car We'll go to Chicagoland, just looking for some fun now. No points on the line for the 3. So we'll see how the final race goes now. That really the championship locked up, that everyone can try and go for whatever they want in that race, rather than have to worry about championship battle. Worried about obviously their own points battles, but more importantly, just trying to get a win and try and find a way to beat the 3 car. Because so far it's been pretty hard this chase to find a way to outpoint Big Jim in enough of ways to make that one work. Brendan, I think we can confirm that Big Jim is the champion, correct?
I'm not gonna officially confirm it, but I'm pretty sure he is locked to get it. If he's not locked to get it, he is virtually.
Yeah, I would say so. I think with Allen getting 4th, I don't think there was enough points there. So I do think that Big Jim is the champion. Obviously, we don't want to make it too official, but I'm feeling confident about that. But we do have 2nd place in here, so we'll go along and start with that. We have Workman once again, very close, and you made it very interesting in the short run. I liked the moves you try and make on the inside in the first 10-15 laps of a run, but what was it you just needed in the final part of the run that Big Jim had? Because he was just, I mean, in the first 10 laps he looked normal, and then after that he was just lights out.
I'm gonna go with a wheel. Gosh, man, I mean, the first run in that first half was great. And then it got to that lead, and then he had a little bit fresher tires and caught back up, and then made some really good adjustments here in that very last stop, and hanging in there. Would fall back a little bit, and then I'd match pace with them. And then it was just from pushing it and giving it all I had there that last 5-6 laps where the car didn't have anything left. It was just hanging on. So that's okay, though. I'm used to it at this point, and I guess we'll see if we can win in my hometown next week.
Yeah, obviously Chicagoland next. You know, there's going to be a lot of drafting there, and obviously there's probably not going to be a championship to worry about next week. So I think everyone can kind of just go full out, don't you think?
Well, yeah, because I was being a little bit more nice. I was trying to be as aggressive with Jim as I could without jeopardizing his championship hopes. But if a championship is locked up next week, then yeah, I'll do whatever it takes to win.
Yeah, it'll be fun to watch next week for sure. Congratulations on the 2nd, and good luck next week.
Thank you.
And we'll move to Tiger, who just joined. Ends up in 3rd place in the 32 car. You and Brennan and Allen had one heck of a battle for about 10 laps. You guys were 3 wide at points. What was it like there battling those two? You saw the front 2 driving away. You 3, though, were having your own battle.
Well, I wasn't gonna catch the top 2 anyway, so I thought may as well have fun with Allen and Brennan. I felt like I had a little bit faster car than them, but it's quite a hard track to pass just with how the outside lane gets run. So really, the only thing I could do is try to get her a decent run off the corner and get alongside them, or trying to pull off some slide job on them.
And I noticed in the 2 runs, you were the one who stayed out the longest, except for AJ in that last run. But you were the one of the front 5 that stayed out the longest. What was the strategy in that? Because I saw having obviously the tires later, you're able to pass them later and pull away.
Yeah, it was just do an overcut. Yeah, because I thought the tires would have give out a little bit more than what they did, because I was catching, I think, Workman a little bit on the first run, so I figured I may as well try it again. But it worked, at least on Allen and Brennan, so that's where I think I'm happy with my performance, because I felt like I had the fastest car, and I finished 3rd.
Well, congrats on that top 3. It was fun to watch you and Brennan and Allen battle, and good luck next week in Chicagoland.
Thank you.
And we'll move to the man of the hour, Big Jim. I think you've stolen the championship hopes of anyone. I believe that it's just all out the window after your dominating performance here in Iowa. Take us through it, because the first 10 laps you looked normal compared with the field. People were trying to get by on the inside, but the last, 25, 30 laps of a run, you really took off and pulled away.
Yeah, that was interesting between trying to stream the race and lagging a lot. That was not fun. It added a whole new component to the challenge, so I put a little extra stress on myself when I didn't have to. But so grateful to get the championship. A little sad that LT wasn't there to battle. I was looking forward to having a chance against him, but wasn't able to really race him tonight. And then going back to your question, the long run speed of that car was just phenomenal. I mean, it was not getting loose. I'm sure you saw that Workman was really good on short runs. He was able to keep up with me. But on long runs, that thing was a rocket ship, and it just really was able to shine in the end of stage, or the end of stint one, and at the end of the race.
Yeah, I was just amazed with the long run speed, because I put in a long run set one time at Iowa, and it took like 25 laps, and those 25 laps were terrible. And then finally for like 15 it went good. Yours was like, it took 10 and you were still fast. And then you just blew away from the field. So I was so impressed seeing. I was like, wow, that thing is like the perfect car.
Yeah, I think the testament to that car was not only was I, fast on a long run, I was fast pretty much anywhere on a long run. I've never had a car on NASCAR Heat 5 where I can run the outside on the extended long run and not get loose. So unfortunately, we're coming to the end of this game, and I won't be able to take that information anywhere because we have NASCAR 21 coming out and might be going to iRacing. But it is nice to know that there was some extra speed there over the last couple of years.
Well, congrats on the win and what I think is the championship. Two-time Elite Racer Series champion. You stole it. No one had a chance in the first two seasons. You're taking it all for yourself.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. I mean, the other thing was I didn't even think the reason I chose the 3 car was because I wanted to see the 11 car flourish and win the championship again. So I let DKR have it, and it ends up where I was able to make enough races and get another championship. It was pretty refreshing to get it in the 3 car. That's my other main car, and I mean, thank you for commentating, and hope to do this again.
Well, thank you for putting on good races. I think that is all we have for the Elite Racer Series from Iowa, presented by Double G Construction Roofing and Richmar Florist. Can I get those in for the second time tonight? The championship has already been decided, but that doesn't mean that there's not going to be a race next week. We're going to Chicagoland. Everyone can now go full out, try and win that one, because there's no championship battle to worry about. Don't have to race any championship contenders as if they're kings. So everyone can go all out and try and win the final race of the Elite Racer Series Season 2. That will be a fun one to watch next week at the same time in Chicagoland. Thanks for watching from Iowa, and I'll see you guys next week.